Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are we doing today? Thanks, Soft Rain. I appreciate that. We got a show for you today. Today's hyper independence. We're gonna start out today with some football though, and no one can blame me. No one can blame me. It is gonna be some football. So let's get going.
We've heard over the past few years is that nickel is the new base, and I believe that will be true with the 2025 Bears. Kyler Gordon is a really good nickel corner, and he is a lot better at nickel corner than their third linebacker is in Noah Sewell or rookie Ruben Hippolyte. No disrespect is intended, of course, but as simple as this idea is, outside of short yardage situations where it's third or fourth and one, and we need a heavy unit in there to try and stop the run, Dennis Allen is going to want as much talent on the field as possible at all times. Now, if there is a concern with the 2025 Bears defense, it is that they do not have a legit tier 1 pass rusher. And what I mean by this is Montez Sweat nor Dio Odengbo is in the same tier as a Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, or Nick Bosa. And that should not be
That's
a hot
facts.
take. That's not to say they're bad players, of course, but they're not DPOY caliber pass rushers.
Yeah,
And that is
not.
something I am eager to see how Dennis Allen will overcome this year and how he changes his blitz packages on a week-to-week basis to continuously get after the quarterback. And at the end of the day, one of the most powerful things you can do as a defense is to be able to consistently get home with 4 rushers, and that's not something I have complete confidence in with this unit. They're not going to be bad from a defensive line standpoint. I just don't think they're going to be an elite unit either, and I don't think Bears fans would disagree with that sentiment.
Nope.
This team was also not great at stopping the run in 2024, and they actually finished 29th in average yards per carry against last year, and how they stop the run in 2025 is going to largely determine how their defense plays over the course of the year. Because if you can't stop,
You got to understand when it comes to playing football. Yeah, offense is great. We love offense, but if you don't have any defense, it's going to be really hard on your offense. It's going to be really hard on your offense. If you're at the bottom 3, 4 in every category on defense, especially after having a good defense before that, you're gonna have a rough season. So they got to fix it. They have to fix it. We're going to see if they fix it this year.
the run and opposing offenses know that, then good luck, especially in this division. Overall, I do think the Bears will be an improved unit defensively, and I think they'll finish in the 13 to 16 range in 2025.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if they can or if they can't. I'm not convinced, to be honest. I'm not convinced that they're gonna. I'm just not convinced in general when it comes to our Chicago Bears. I'm not convinced. I feel like they got a long way to go, and this is another redeveloping season. It's just the way I feel about it. Let's go into our breakdown of the week. It was a crazy football weekend, y'all. We're going to go ahead and watch and break it down together.
Most of week 1 is in the books, and it started back on Thursday night with the game between the Cowboys and Eagles. I thought Dak Prescott played a great game on the road in week 1 against the defending champions, and I know the box score wasn't great for Prescott.
Yeah, but okay, this is what they're saying, right? You got week 1, 21 to 34, 61% completion rate, 188 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 76.6 passer rating. Final score 24 to 20 in Philadelphia's favor. But I gotta say, if you didn't watch this game, and you only looked at the box score, you might say, "Oh, Dak didn't play very good." When in reality, he played a very solid game, And in my opinion, it's raining out there. They had a whole bunch going on with the weather and the field. You looked at the field conditions, but he looks good. He looked like a solid quarterback. The Dallas Cowboys looked like a solid football team this year. They were playing against the defending champions. So I mean, and to be honest, I feel like the defending champions narrowly escaped because they looked like they were losing that game. I mean, where can we go from there? I think the ceiling is the ceiling, and they look like they can compete. We'll see what this guy has to say about it a little bit more, but I think that they looked good too.
But he made several big-time throws, and one of the takeaways I have for Dak in Week 1 is that he looked a lot better in Week 1 of 2025 than he did at any point last year.
Yeah, literally.
The CeeDee Lamb drops were obviously unfortunate, but there were multiple tweets about CeeDee Lamb being the only one at the facility on Friday, the day after the game, catching passes from the Jugs machine, and I think that is a good sign from a leader on the team. I also thought Dallas played a lot better than what I thought they were going to play, and yes, there was meat left on the bone, but this is going to be a lot more difficult of a team to beat this year than we initially thought. For Philly, a win is a win, especially.
I mean, I can see Dallas doing something like going 13-4 this season with the way they were playing the Eagles. I don't think 13-4 is a stretch. I don't think 13-4 is a stretch at all. The way they played the Eagles. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about halfway down the season. We're talking about Dallas actually having a strong playoff run. I don't see any reason to doubt that that's possible. For all the Cowboys haters, I guess y'all just gonna have to see too. You know, I'm not necessarily a Cowboys hater this year. I mean, when they lose, it's still funny to me. I ain't gonna lie. Cowboys fans, y'all provide me with the most material as far as like just jokes go about football. It's always the Cowboys fans, but I think they're good. So that's saying a lot. You impress somebody who's not a fan and hasn't been for quite a while. I was impressed. Can't talk no crap about them right now.
On Banner night, and especially with how their night started, with the ejection of Jalen Carter due to him spitting on quarterback Dak Prescott. Positively for the Birds, I thought Jahad Campbell played really well, and Zach Bond, at least based off of this game, was definitely not a one-year fluke. It was offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo's first game, so I think the offense will be a bit of a work in progress, but
I mean, you see that right there, and that's them talking about it. You got a first year there with this offensive coordinator. I mean, they're still getting used to a new coach as well. I mean, that's a tall task to go against the defending champions like that. Quarterback coming off of injury, he's lighter, obviously. I think now we're gonna talk fantasy stuff. If you got one of these Cowboys that are like in the premier here, I think you should probably keep them, not try to move them anywhere. Maybe try starting Dak next week. You know, we're not on next week's predictions yet, but I would say this is the best version that we've seen in quite a while, maybe in the last 4 to 5 years. Everybody knows what happened. We're going to move on to the next game, which is, for me, this was probably my favorite game of the weekend. Like I watched all of them, not even just on Red Zone. Like I'm back and forth through a bunch of the games, and then I watched the highlights of the ones that I didn't really catch as much. But this is probably the game of the week for me. I don't like the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't really have too much good to say about them. I mean, they've been a powerhouse for the last decade, and I can't be upset about that. That's good for football, But I think that this year they got a lot of stuff to fix if they want to be super competitive. And I'm not going to be one of the people that jumps out because I do like the Chargers and Justin Air Bear, as I call him. Justin Air Bear, y'all. Air Bear. That's Air Bear. I think that they're primed for a good season as long as he stays healthy. As long as he stays healthy and keeps some of his guys, then I think they're in for a good season. If he doesn't stay healthy and loses some of his guys, especially on that line, I think we're going to have an issue. Shout out to Souls Thought. What's up, Souls? I think that's going to be more of a problem if his line starts getting injured, his receivers starting to go down, or his running back stop producing. But we're going to catch a little bit of this right here.
Week 1. However,
as you can see,
he's moving. To be noted, and one that applies for the Chiefs based on this game is their run game. Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco are not an explosive duo, and unfortunately within this game, Xavier Worthy was also hurt.
Yep.
I worry about this team offensively, and even when Rashee Rice comes back.
Me, Classic, and Souls, if y'all watch the Classic Code Sports that we were on the other day when we did our pre-season week 1 and for the rest of the season predictions for the year, that's one of the things we all agreed on was some of these players that are being touted are a little bit undersized for where they're at. I think Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, and then you add with Xavier Worthy and how he got injured on literally the first drive. It's kind of you saw this. Puka Nacua got hurt a little bit this week. I mean, it looks like all the smaller guys, even Zay was out for a play or two. These smaller guys that are playing, like they're hitting is back. The big hit is back in the NFL. It might have been tweaked a little bit. It took a few seasons for big hitting to really come back after they messed with the rules a little bit. But from this season already, people are wanting to hit. They're wanting to hit, and they're hitting hard. No pun intended. Xavier Worthy actually got hit by his own player, Travis Kelce. But I'm just saying, Lad McConkey was out for a little bit, also, like just for a couple of plays after a couple big hits. But we'll catch up. We'll keep continuing on with this one. I think the size is going to be a thing when it comes to staying healthy this year.
From suspension, he's not a legit wide receiver one, meaning he's not a top 5 or 7 receiver in the NFL. And I think those concerns, along with how Jawaan Taylor played in this game, are warranted. Now, the defense played bad in this game, and we'll dive more into this in a later video, but what I want to emphasize is it took a 318-yard, 3-touchdown performance from Justin Herbert to beat this team.
So this is like super Justin Herbert. We all knew that Justin Herbert had it in him to do something like this, but you have to remember that over years, all we keep saying about Justin Herbert is he's almost there. He's almost there. He's almost there. I think this is like year 4 now, maybe year 5. And we really just need to see Justin Herbert dominate the way that he got drafted to do. I think that he does have a lot of the weapons to use that he could get, that it could get him there. His own physicality, he looks to be in much better shape than he was last year, just the way he's moving around, his throwing mechanics, the snap and crisp of the ball. Year 1, we saw Justin Herbert fit a football through a keyhole for a touchdown pass. And I thought that was one of the best passes I've ever seen in my entire life, just how it all broke down. This year, I didn't see that last year from him, with the injuries. This year, it looks like he's starting to get back to that accuracy, as well as like the pinpointedness of where he puts the ball and how he plays the game. 25-34, nothing to scoff at, 33.5%, almost 34%, accuracy, 318 passing yards, over the 300 mark. Nobody can say anything about over the 300 mark. In the last couple of years, over 250 has been great. 0 interceptions. That's, not turning the ball over is the essential part of football. If you're on the offense and you turn the football over, you're giving the other team actually 2 opportunities to score, because they get one on the return, whatever type of return it is. And if there is no return, let's say for a fumble or something like that, they just fell on it, then you're also giving the offense another shot. And if the offense just scored on you, they're still hot. They're still like, okay, we could have done this. We could have done this. They're remembering everything that just happened on the field, the drive before that, which might have only been 1 or 2 plays, including a kickoff. And they're like, okay, well, we had the run. The run was there. Number 6 was slow. Maybe we can run a reverse to this side, throw a slant over here, or, hey, we got one of the quickest guys in the field. We're going to take him deep. So I want you to just play action fake, and I'm going to drop back and then throw it deep. They can do all of that right now. And that's what happens when you turn the football over. But they're not turning the football over makes it a whole lot easier for them to win. And it's going to be a lot harder for a team, even Kansas City, who has firepower, to beat a team that's not going to turn the football over, going to have a guy throwing for over 300 yards, be completely and super accurate while doing it, but also will lower his shoulder and run into you. So, but that is the part that we're most worried about when it comes to Justin Herbert.
By 6 points, along with a huge 19-yard run on 3rd and 14 to prevent Kansas City from getting the ball back. So while they did lose and there are concerns, I don't think it's the end of the world. And I also thought, all things considered, Patrick Mahomes played pretty good in this game. Now, for the Chargers, this was a huge Week 1 win. Joe Alt pitched a shutout moving back to the left side, and Justin Herbert had one of the best games of his career. We all know what happened in the playoff game last year with the Chargers, and specifically how Justin Herbert played, but this was a Herbert masterclass. He made every throw required and became the 3rd quarterback in franchise history to have a 300-plus yard, 3 passing touchdown game in Week 1, joining Dan Fouts and Phillip Rivers. I also thought Greg Roman called a tremendous game for the Chargers, and this was a hell of a response for this team based on the last football game we saw them play. The Cardinals traveled from the desert to the Big Easy, and
it's good to see them doing good. It's good to see the Chiefs losing, and I ain't mad about that one bit. And I feel like if you are mad about it, that's on you. I'm fine with the Chiefs losing, y'all. I think the next we're going to run through all of these. We're going to run through them all, and then we're going to get into the meat of today.
Open their season with a
show that we did about this, that I'm not convinced that the Cardinals are a good team. I'm still not convinced that the Cardinals are a good team, because I don't think that the Saints are a good team at all. I saw what was going on. I felt like the Saints played extremely conservative football. Like, if you watch some of these clips, you'll see what I'm talking about. They played extremely conservative football. And yes, Yes. Arizona was doing a couple of trick plays. I don't know if they're just trying it out because they knew they could get it off on this team, or if that's something that they seriously think they're going to be able to do every single week. But because this is a clips show on here, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about.
Rookie Will Johnson, who I do believe will be one of the biggest steals from the 2025
Yeah, I mean, look
draft.
at this. This is sloppy,
They only
man.
put up 3 points in the second half, and I would have liked to have seen more of a step on the throat mentality, but a win is a win, and
and I'm not a fan of that two-tone type of jersey. That just looks cheap.
that's the biggest thing. Also, pass catching the football, and they're not going to be an easy team to beat. And the biggest thing they have to do is...
Well, you got to say, they're going to run the football, but he's throwing the ball 46, 47 times. That's a little bit counterproductive.
Penalties, which is something that can be worked on. I also thought Kellen Moore could have handled the clock management better at the end of the first half, but there were still a lot of positive things to take away for the Saints. High expectations is the name of the game for the 2025 Commanders.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too much to say about that game. It wasn't necessarily a good football game. There were some good spots in that football game, but both those teams need a lot of work, in my opinion. I feel like Arizona's going to be able to put it together because they got veterans and they have some really exciting rookies. But I feel way better about Arizona than I do about New Orleans. So we got Washington and New York. This game was a stinker on New York side. A stinker on New York side. I was not expecting them to play that bad. We're going to see what's going on right now. And on top of it, and we'll get there, but there's rumors right now they want to start Jackson Dart next week.
They went to the NFC Championship game last year, and they started the following year with a win. The Commanders ran for over 200 yards as a team, and Bill Krosky-Merritt looked good in his NFL debut. I know Washington won by 15 points, but this game didn't feel that close throughout.
Yeah,
they will improve the run
Atlanta
game
played
too,
a great game.
but I cannot emphasize how big of a win this was for Tampa. Now, for Atlanta, Michael Penix played good, and in a lot of ways, I thought he did enough to win, but unfortunately, he was let down.
Close.
Caleb McGarry is out for the year, and not that he single-handedly destroyed their chances of having a successful run game, but
27-42, a lot of passes, 298 yards, almost 300. That's a whole significantly better than what we talked about. There's one passing touchdown, no interceptions, and a rushing touchdown. So 2 touchdowns, almost 300 yards. It's a solid game, guys. It's a solid game. There's nothing wrong with that.
Unfortunately missed a chance to send this game to overtime in week
Yes, he
1.
did.
And ultimately for the Falcons, my biggest takeaway was that Michael Penix played good, but unfortunately was let down by his team. To the state of Ohio, we go to discuss Bengals.
Yeah, so before we even get there, it was a great game. It was a great game. I enjoyed the game. Obviously, as I enjoy almost all of Tampa Bay games, I enjoyed the game. I thought that Atlanta played way better than I was expecting them to play. They were formidable. Once again, most of the games this weekend felt like anybody could have won them. So do not be surprised that, whatever teams that we've been watching and whatever teams that we see, if they meet again and the roles are flipped, do not be surprised. The only ones that I don't think the roles will be flipped at is maybe New Orleans and maybe even New York, depending on if they can get it together or not. But so far, this has been good. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this one because there's a bunch of stuff, and I might not say that much about it because I think everyone watched it.
Browns, and the biggest thing Bengals fans did after this game, aside from enjoying a bowl of sky,
like this is probably my biggest letdown, is Joe Burrow's weak. Yes, they won the game. Did they deserve to win the game? Maybe. He didn't turn the football over, but there wasn't a lot of playmaking going on, in my opinion. I think that, again, we're going to see some defensive issues that they have that they need to fix. So that's the most I can say about it.
Chili was breathe a huge sigh of relief. Everyone knows about the early season Bengal struggles, and for a minute it looked like this was going to be much of the same. Merriam-Webster definition of a win is a win, then this...
Because of fantasy football, I was enjoying the game for a couple different reasons. I have players on both sides of the ball. And let me tell you, that Myles Garrett draft, you drafted Myles Garrett too early. That was what a couple people told me. You drafted him too early. Did I really? Myles Garrett's putting up more points than some of y'all running backs. Myles Garrett is putting up more points than some of y'all receivers. Y'all tight ends. Myles Garrett was a good draft choice. My defense did great. Everybody outperformed. It's almost like I play football and I coach football and I know what to look for in players. It's almost like I might have spent some time somewhere. It's almost like that, right?
Game is pictured directly next to it. The Browns are a tough matchup for the Bengals, and this game showed why. Now, for Cleveland,
I still think that they should have had a different quarterback in the game in Cleveland, and then maybe Cleveland actually wins the game. I know that the kicker missed 2 field goals. That's 4 points. He missed an extra point and he missed a field goal. So if y'all are wondering why I said that, some people don't watch football who watch me, so I'm just letting you know. 4 points. 4 points would have made it at 20-17 at worst, right? Yeah, well, 20-17 would have won the game. Once again, these two franchises out of Ohio need to get it right. They both need to get it right. This game was a win is a win. That's what it is. I want to go to this one because I liked this game a lot. Justin Fields impressed me. Aaron Rodgers wasn't bad, even though I still don't like him at all. I don't care if you play for Mike Tomlin, who is one of my favorite coaches in the league. Not because he's black, but because he's a winner. Because he's a winner. The man has never had a losing season as a head coach over a decade of being a head coach in the National Football League. You got to give the man his props, even if sometimes he makes a lot of wacky decisions. But I guess that's what football is, a whole bunch of wacky decisions. Let's get into this.
MetLife Stadium in Week 1 as the Steelers beat the Jets 34-32. Offensively for the Steelers, this was as textbook of a start as you could have hoped for Aaron Rodgers. Now, I do have questions for the Steelers' offensive line.
20 carries, 53 rushing yards, 2.7 yards per carry, 0 rushing touchdowns. That's not exactly a good stat line. It's not a bad stat line. It just kind of is what it is. I mean, you want more than 2.7 yards, averaging per carry. You want more than that, but sometimes it just ain't possible, especially if they have a really strong defensive line. If you can move the ball at all and fit that into your passing game while you can rush like that, then okay, 2.7 is fine. If you're like, let's say you're averaging 7.5 on a per pass, eight per pass, then of course 2.7 is just fine when you need a first down. It's just fine. But other than in that scenario, you probably want them to be doing a little bit more.
I think Steelers fans would agree that Aaron Rodgers was battered around a lot more than they would have hoped for in his Steelers debut. The defense did not look like a typical Pittsburgh Steelers defense, at least not in the season opener.
It didn't. Justin Fields was carving them up.
But a huge shout out goes to Jalen Ramsey and Chris Boswell. Now, for this is not a team that's going to back down and
16 of 22, 72%. See, 16 of 22 with 218 passing yards. It's a whole different ball game, especially 72.37%, that 73% pass percentage completed, 1 pass touchdown, no turnovers. And that's a big one for Justin Fields. No turnovers, no fumbles, no interceptions, 48 rushing yards, which is, admirable. 2 rushing touchdowns for Justin Fields and 1 pass. That's a total of 3. He's going to get a 119.1 passer rating. This is almost as good of a game from Justin Fields as you can ever expect from him as a player. This is almost as good as a game from Justin Fields as you can ever expect. There wasn't a lot of mistakes that he made in this game, and this one kind of came down to happenstance. Either team could have won this game. No turnovers definitely helps.
Roll over. They're going to be a nuisance to play. And my only negative takeaway is one that I had entering the year, and it's that Brandon Stephens was a complete liability in Baltimore, and he was not good in this game, and meaning the flashy plays from Travis Hunter throughout the 2025 season.
Yeah, so in the biggest surprise of the weekend, we're going to go into Miami versus Indianapolis. I got to make myself a little bit bigger on this one. I'm going to be the first one to say it. All right, classic. You call Daniel Jones' resurgence, and let's just hope that this isn't just a week 1 thing. But Daniel Jones looked like a monster. Daniel Jones was carving up the Miami Dolphins. On my end, I said I didn't think that the Miami Dolphins were going to be cohesive right now, and they're not. And we're about to watch all of it.
Dolphins Colts is up, and I don't think this is an exaggeration to say this was one of the worst.
Daniel Jones, 22 of 29, 272 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 115.9 pass rate, no interceptions, and 2 rushing touchdowns. 2 rushing touchdowns. He didn't have the yards on the rushing side that Justin Fields had, but these stats are nasty. He's throwing the ball a little bit more downfield than Justin Fields too. Got 60 more yards, man. This is a special performance from Daniel Jones. He got drafted to the wrong team. New York Giants was the wrong place for that man to go, and we can see that right now. This isn't just a little bit of NFL veteran doing things. This is a guy who knew what he was doing from the beginning.
First games we've seen from the Dolphins in several years. The other big one that comes to mind is when they lost in the 2019 season opener to the Ravens in what was the start of Lamar Jackson's first MVP campaign. Daniel Jones was dicing this defense time and time again, and he looked like a really good quarterback that Miami didn't have an answer to. For Seattle, I was a little disappointed with the play calling. There was a lot of screens, and Sam Darnold wasn't utilized to the player that he can be. He's really good off play action, and they didn't use a lot of play action within this game.
Yeah, that one was very badly worded, but to be honest, San Francisco didn't particularly play that well for most of this game. Seattle didn't particularly play well for most of this game either. I think they both those teams are just very disconjointed right now. In Seattle's defense, Sam Darnold's their first year with them, him getting used to Seattle and how everything is there, and there's no excuse to San Francisco. They're just a team I seem to think is falling off. This game was a surprising matchup. Our boy came in here, Matthew Stafford, with an injured back. So, I didn't know that his back was injured until I was informed. And I didn't pick him up on my fantasy roster this year, which I'm kind of glad that I went for the other guy in Los Angeles and grabbed him. But for obvious reasons, I wasn't expecting this game to go this well for them, but it did. So we're going to see it.
Rams is up, and my biggest concern with the Texans entering this year unfortunately showed in week 1, and that was the offensive line opportunity for the Texans. If there's any positives to take away, the defense.
I'll tell you from watching this game, because there isn't too much there. Like you see, the score was low. From watching this game, it was a bunch of miscues on both sides of the game. You got guys getting injured, got guys coming back in the game. Puka Nacua, however you say it, that guy was a standout in this game. But again, his size and getting hit, he had a couple different concussion protocols. He was out. He was listed as questionable for the whole rest of the second half. First half of the game. We're gonna see where health goes with those guys, but LA's got to show me a little bit more. That wasn't necessarily one of their best games. Denver, Tennessee, we'll catch a little bit of that. Bo Nix kind of let me down a little bit in this game too.
This team was abysmal in 2024 at beating themselves, whether it be due to penalties.
Cam Ward looked like he's a rookie quarterback. He looked good, but he looked like a rookie quarterback.
Or awful special teams play. I was hoping they could go into Denver and be presentable and keep it close against a really good defense in their number 1 overall pick's debut. The positives was they forced 4.
Last night's game was interesting. I think I might save a little bit, to talk about these Pookie. Last night's game was interesting, man. Like the Ravens and the Seahawks. Not the Seahawks. The Ravens and the Bills, that game was incredible. And I'm not going to showcase them on here. I'm not going to do it. I want you to go watch it yourself. The game was incredible. I wasn't expecting the Bills to come back, but I was saying it the entire time in the last 7 minutes. They're down a bunch of points, but this sounds like an NFL thing where the Ravens are going to get a little bit too, comfortable with the fact that they have a lead with this late. And then the Bills are not going to act like, they're trying to close out the Super Bowl. And that's exactly what it looked like to me. It's exactly what it looked like to me. I can't think of anything else. I can't think of anything else that are going to do that. So we're going to jump into the meat of what we're supposed to do today. And we're going to go to signs of hyper-independence. Hyper-independence. And the things that cause them. So I'm a big proponent. I'm gonna switch gears real quick. Let me go ahead and get a little bit of water. Yeah, I love my water bottle, y'all. If y'all didn't know, keeps me hydrated, and it's got the little hash marks on it. It's great. So we're gonna talk about the meat of today. We have sports right now. The media today is hyperindependence. If you know what hyperindependence is, as you see it scrolling at the bottom, I want you guys to let me know in the chat. What do you think hyperindependence is? What do you think hyperindependence is? While we're at it, I could even pull up a little definition, an actual definition of what hyperindependence is. Hyperindependence refers to an excessive and unhealthy self-reliance where an individual avoids seeking help or support from others, even when it's necessary. They believe that the causes are trauma, neglect, perfectionism, fear of vulnerability. The characteristics that they're used to are reluctance to ask for help, even when struggling. Taking on an excessive responsibility and burden, difficulty accepting support from others, feeling isolated and disconnected, feeling overworking and burnout. I feel that all the time. Stress and anxiety, loneliness and isolation, relationship difficulties, burnout and exhaustion, reduced productivity and performance. These are some of the things that hyperindependence are represented as on here. All of that. So we're gonna start, and we're gonna watch this together, and we're gonna dive into hyperindependence and what we actually think about it. So just because they have something to say doesn't mean that we have the same opinion. Let's see if we do.
Can have a profound impact on an individual's psyche and coping mechanisms. While some people may display visible signs of distress or seek support from others may develop a hyper-independent attitude as a trauma.
So basically, if we look at this from a standpoint of this is where a lot of us are right now in life. All the things that we've ever been through, all the things that we've had to grind our way up to, most of us can sit back and say, at the end of the day, the only person that we had was ourselves. And so if we're the only ones that we have, and let me put my glasses on because my eyes are doing funky things right now. Ooh. Yeah, there we go. Block all the light. Yes. If we're talking about ourselves and the way that we've been let down over the years by people, and I for sure have been let down by people over the years. I have put my trust in the wrong people. I put my faith in the wrong people. I've put money in the wrong places. And it always comes back to people and opportunity and all that. So before we even get started, I think my first statement about hyperindependence is I don't think it's that bad of a thing. I don't think it's that bad of a thing. If it is that bad of a thing, we're going to find out. Is it bad in the thing just because I'm me? Is it bad of the thing or if it's worthless? Let's see what they have to say about it.
Response. Psychologist Dr. Amy Marshall explains that this hyper-independence is a coping mechanism that emerges from the need to protect oneself from further pain and vulnerability. And while
I think you kind of do have to do that,
independence is generally seen as a positive trait, hyper-independence can lead to isolation and emotional detachment, hindering the healing process. So with that said, here's how we can find out whether our hyper-independence is actually a trauma response. Reluctance to seek help. According to counselor Dr. Joanne,
there's a lot of us that don't like asking anyone for help for any reason, mostly because we feel like we can do it ourselves. And to be honest, my opinion is most of the time we can do it ourselves.
And Frederick. Traumatic experiences can lead to a belief that relying on others makes one vulnerable to further pain and disappointment, which often results in a strong reluctance to seek help. If you have hyperindependence, you may distance yourself from others and avoid asking for help because you believe that you can handle everything on your own. This tendency to be overly self-reliant, however, exacerbates feelings of isolation and intensifies the trauma's emotional burden. Refusal.
I mean, to a degree, I don't necessarily believe that. To a degree. Not with their degree. Soul said it's only bad when used as an excuse for disobedience, i.e. women. You had to start, didn't you? I love it though. I mean, you can't use your hyper-independence as an excuse for disobedience. You really can't. I can do it myself. Sometimes you can't do it by yourself, and everybody knows it too because it shows. That's the truth. for me personally. I'm not a woman, so I can speak from this perspective until we get to conversations with Soft Rain later on. If y'all haven't tapped in with conversations of Soft Rain yet, go and do that. I've been telling y'all to do it for 2 weeks. Why haven't you done it yet? Do it now. All right. So I don't like asking for help. Why don't I like asking for help? Because most of the time for me, this is obvious. I mean, not obvious, but if you've been through this, then it's obvious. Most of the time when I asked for help growing up, it got thrown back in my face later that I asked for help. And I think that one of the main things that I decided in life is I don't want people throwing it in my face that they helped me. IMO, the hyperindependence is a trauma response. It's instances of let down being experienced. Well, yeah, but I'm not necessarily let down by the person that threw it in my face that they helped me. I just don't like the way it feels inside. Like, I know that if I got it, whatever it is that I could do to help, I usually do help people, and I don't really expect anything back from it because I'm just like, you know what? The odds are that if I had it to lend and they didn't have it, then I won't need it. So it's not that I don't expect my money back. It's not that I don't expect my efforts or my time back. It's just that I go into most situations with the mindset that whatever I'm about to do, I probably never am going to see again. And that's the downside of it that most people don't talk about. It has nothing to do with me not trusting them. It's just that if I never put trust in them in the first place, then I won't be let down. Either way it goes. If they pay me back, yay. If they don't pay me back, typical. I mean, tell me if that makes sense or not. Does that make sense? Is that defeatist? Always. Let's go back to this one real quick. The hyperindependence is a trauma response. It's the instances of letdown being experienced and not recovering from it. Is this in response to what Soul said? It's only bad when used as an excuse for disobedience, i.e. women, and then right after, hyperindependence is a response. It's the instances of being let down, of a letdown being experienced, and not recovering from it. Okay, we're gonna see some more. What this girl got to say?
To accept help. Similar to our earlier point, even when offered genuine help or support, hyper-independent individuals often struggle to accept it, says Dr. Amy Marshall.
Not even just struggle to accept it. Most of the time, hyper-independent people don't accept it. And they will flat out tell you, especially if they're, anyone that is as forthright about what they want, like me. I don't want your help, so don't offer. And that is, tell them in the gate. There's a lot of things that I'd rather do myself because I am not going to let me down. If I fail, then I'm going to pick myself up again, and I'm going to go and do the right thing if I fail. She said, no, not a response. Okay, cool. We're just making sure because I'm like, I really couldn't connect them. She said she actually agrees with Souls. I don't blame you because Souls is right. No disagreement there. Can't argue it right. But for me, it's like I don't want to be let down by anybody. I know that. And I also know that I can do things on my own. So I do them on my own. I don't expect anybody else to do it for me because nobody ever did. So why would anybody do it for me now? And I'm not saying that's the worst thing in the world to have. I don't mind going somewhere by myself. I don't mind going on an adventure by myself. When I'm in other countries, one of my favorite things to do is walk around by myself. I know I shouldn't do it. We've talked about this before. You're in a foreign country. You may or may not speak the language. Why are you wandering the streets by yourself? I like to explore things. I really do. And I had a really good time exploring these cities that I go to. I know not to go too far. I mean, I went too far in the jungle. In Costa Rica, but I'd probably do it again. Just saying it. I saw a lot of nice things. Big old crocodiles.
They may feel uncomfortable or even undeserving of it, as their trauma response convinces them that accepting help equates to weakness.
We got one from Souls. I don't think men should take on this label. Souls, you are batting 100, but I got like at least another 20 minutes of show to do on on this. I'm laying the cable out there and gotta lay, I gotta, I can't say lay the pipe. Can I? Can I, can I say that I gotta lay the pipe on television? I'm sorry if y'all are watching this at work and y'all put this on y'all work TVs because people just heard me talk about laying pipe during a hyper independence conversation, and I'm not gonna take it back. I'm not taking it back. That was hilarious. But yes, we're getting there.
Dependent individuals often feel the need to be self-reliant to an extreme degree and may go to great lengths to prove that they can handle any challenge without assistance, even if it means neglecting their own well-being. But these behaviors can quickly lead to loneliness, burnout, and emotional exhaustion. Difficulty expressing vulnerability. Do you find it difficult to share your feelings and open up to others?
It's not difficult to share my feelings. It's not difficult at all. But why would I share them with you? Or anyone, for that matter? Who cares what my feelings are? Nobody. Shoot, I don't even be caring about what my feelings are. Oh, that answers her question.
Does it make you feel weak and uncomfortable to show and express emotional vulnerability? People with hyperindependence, explains clinician Dr. Trish Kahawita, tend to have a protective barrier around their feelings, potentially caused by past experiences of abandonment, broken trust, or betrayal. These negative
I don't know too many men who weren't pushed out of the nest at some point or encouraged. Let's just call it encouragement through a style of parenting to get you out of the nest, to get you out of your comfort spot the minute that you could move on your own 2 feet. I don't necessarily think that's abandonment in a lot of situations. Yeah, it could be. It could be considered abandonment, but not everybody has the same amount of resources. And if you can go and secure your own, you probably should. As a man, that is. But we're getting there.
experiences cause them to fear that opening up and allowing themselves to be vulnerable will only lead to judgment and rejection,
Because it
and
will.
that they're better off suppressing their emotions instead.
It will. It will. It's 2025. Okay? Let's call it what it is. Let's call it what it is. How many times have y'all heard them talk about sassy men lately? Oh, he's sassy. He's sassy because he told you his feelings? All right. So if he doesn't tell you his feelings, then you're going to diagnose him with a whole bunch of other stuff. But if he does tell you his feelings, now he's sassy. All right. Yeah. Let's start skipping some of the emotional conversation that people want to have. I'm not here to massage anyone's emotional ego. I'm not as a man, not as a partner, not as a dad. No, my job is to help you grow. If I'm your dad, my job is to help you grow. My job is to edify, encourage, support, and protect you. Which has a lot of similarities to having a girlfriend, wife, fiance, or any romantic situation that you're in. It's very similar. But I do believe that in the most healthy versions of relationships, then two people serve two different functions. Not saying that those two functions can't be served at one point or a time by another, especially with the advent of technology and equality rules. But I do believe that will be just fine if I handle everything the way that this video is telling me that is a problem. I do believe that. We're going to keep it moving.
Emotional self-neglect. Another telltale sign that you struggle with hyperindependence is if you become so focused on staying strong and self-sufficient that it leads you to neglect your own emotional needs. According to Dr.
My emotional needs include my physical needs include having my bills paid, making sure that the children are taken care of, making sure the family is good, making sure the roof stays great, making sure that the tires stay good and all of the brakes are done and there's gas in every tank and there's all the stuff for Tide Pods and whatever else you want to wash your clothes with. But my job includes being stable. Those are my needs. Ensuring stability and climbing the ladder to the next level. Those are my needs. Are my emotions affected by failure to do so? I would say yes, but in the form of greater determination. I'll do another thing then. If that doesn't work, then I'll do something else. But don't be confused. This has to work. There's no time to put my hand in my lap, my head in my hands and in my lap to worry and be sad about anything. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion, but I would much rather spend my time figuring it out than being sad that it didn't work out.
Marshall. This is usually the reason why people with hyperindependence suffer from chronic stress and burnout, because they tend to downplay their emotional needs in favor of prioritizing tasks, accomplishments, or helping others. Examples of this behavior include not seeking emotional support, avoiding conversations about one's feelings, refusing to acknowledge one's own pain and struggles, and burying feelings deep inside, leading to emotional numbness and disconnection. Fear of intimacy, insecure attachment. Hyperindependence can also manifest.
If you've met a perfect person in this life, I want you to raise your hand in the chat and tell me who that perfect individual was. I myself have personally never met a perfect person. What I do know is the majority of people that I have come in contact with, if you tell them what can hurt you, they will eventually use it to hurt you in some way. Oh, I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. So you found out what the vulnerability was. And then you use the vulnerability against the person who trusted you with their weakness. That may have been their only weakness. And you used it against them. And it happens so many times that you're telling me that not disclosing a weakness, especially in a relationship, is a problem? You should trust me. Trust is an emotion, okay? And if we're talking about emotions, trust is just another one of those ones that you probably should ignore sometimes. Most of the time. Almost all the time.
As a fear of
Trust yourself. How about that? Trust yourself. You know what you're going to do, right? If you can't trust yourself, you need help. Therapy, psychiatrist, something. I'm not diagnosing anybody. This is just my opinion. You know, obviously this is for content creation purposes and everything is alleged.
Intimacy and deep emotional connections, says psychologist Dr. Annie Kenisugarn. Forming close bonds with others requires vulnerability and trust, which can be daunting for someone who's experienced trauma.
I like this one right here. Last time it happened, it ended so badly. So I think that a lot of us who, try to use more common sense, especially because it isn't so common these days, would say if something ended really, really badly the last time it happened, most of us would try to make sure that we never let it happen again. And then if we did happen again, and then it happened again 3 times, we're now on an insane loop, an insane infinity loop. Get happy, get excited, get let down, bring it all the way back around, have a good time, and then right again, get back to get happy, get excited, get let down, do it again. So you guys switched it up because you're in an insane loop now. You're in an insane infinity loop that's not going to end. You keep making the same mistakes over and over and over and over again because your picker told you. Your picker's broken in a lot of areas. We're not just talking about relationships. I'm just saying that if it happened the last time, the odds are greater for it to happen again. The conditions were right for it to happen, right? So if you don't change anything about the conditions, then it's probably going to happen again. There was a flood. What happened? Well, the septic tank was backed up, or the sewers got backed up, or there was cracks in the foundation and water seeped in. Okay, well, did you caulk the foundation? Did you level everything so that you could re-cement it and seal up the holes? No. Did you go in and empty the septic tank or replace it? No. So nothing changed. No. Okay, then the odds are still right for it to happen again. The conditions are fantastic. It's gonna happen again. I'll tell you that right now. Especially if you're dealing with people. It's gonna happen again. Murphy's Law. Remember Murphy's Law? Murphy's Law is a good one.
You may feel better keeping people at an emotional distance to shield yourself from potential
I do.
pain. But such guardedness hinders our ability to form meaningful connections with others and reinforces our need to rely solely.
I don't believe that one bit. I do think that you can be hyper independent, as a man especially, and form meaningful bonds with others. I just feel like you have to be able to communicate exactly what you're looking for with people. And if they don't like it, they don't like it.
On ourselves for support and validation. Constant need for control. According to Dr. Marshall, if you've learned to cope with your trauma through hyperindependence, you probably dislike needing other people and having them need you too. You're of the firm belief that the
I don't mind people needing me. I just don't like needing others. For obvious reasons.
only person we can trust and rely on completely is ourselves, and expect others to feel the exact same way. As a result, you exhibit a strong need for control over your own life, which stems from a fear of unpredictability and vulnerability. You want to make all your choices on your own. You struggle to accept the input of others, and don't delegate tasks or collaborate well for fear of failure or disappointment. If you enjoyed this video, we also have a video.
I feel like most of those are very disconjointed. Very disconjointed. I mean, I can take a little bit more time on this if the people want me to. Y'all let me know, but I feel like it's very disconjointed. I'm going to give my final verdict on this. Gotta take a second. I'm going to take a second out of my day and talk to men. So, ladies, if you're watching, this isn't exactly for you. And don't worry, our next segment is getting into conversations with Soft Rain. We're going to hear from the women. We're going to hear from the ladies. I'm not going to leave y'all out of the segment today, but I'm going to talk to the men right now. Men, I would encourage you to become more hyper independent. I would encourage you to stop looking for saviors in everything that you see. I would encourage you to work on yourself relentlessly. Every day, you need to get better, even if it's just 1%. I would encourage you to not take so many days off of certain things in your life. You know what I'm talking about. Each of us has a different path that we need to walk, but that path is not even. It's not straight. It's not clear of debris. It's not, for the most of us, especially if you're watching me. My life definitely hasn't been an easy path to anywhere that I've wanted to go. And let me tell you, once I've gotten there, it's always been so sweet because I knew what I went through. I knew. Stop relying on others so much. Pour more into yourself. Get better. Don't lose the attitude. Lose the attitude. Okay, you can whoop everybody. That's cool. You ain't got to tell them that you can whoop them. Just whoop them when the time is right. All things, once again, are opinions for content creation purposes and very alleged. Very alleged. But don't become numb. This is not talking about being numb. This is just knowing that you can do what you need to do as a man because you were given the ability to do so. Don't make excuses about it. If you fail, you fail. Get up. There ain't nothing there. Every L is a lesson. Every L is a lesson. If you lose, train harder. Come back stronger. And give it another shot. But do not wallow in pity because something didn't work out. I don't care if it was a relationship. I don't care if it was a job. I don't care I don't care what it was. Even if it was your dream, either go back to the drawing board or get a new dream. But do not sit in self-pity, do not wallow in it, and learn that you can do it on your own. You can do it by yourself. Stop looking for handouts. They're not coming. And you're only going to make yourself upset because they're not coming. Just don't expect them. I don't expect them. That's why I'm so grateful. That's why I'm so happy. That's why today is a holiday. It's the first day of Tez-Timber. How long does Tez-Timber last? I don't know. Because Tez-Timber is probably going to turn into Tez-Tober. And then Tez-Fember. And then Tez-Sember. I'm just letting y'all know that we're on one fantastic holiday ride right now. And I just decided that this morning. Is anything going to change other than my attitude? My attitude changes because I'm having a great time. It's a great day. It's a holiday, y'all. We celebrate. We go celebrate next. We're going to move on to a little bit of conversations with Soft Rain and what they talked about yesterday. So I haven't watched it yet. I was deep in work yesterday and football, and I knew that I was going to cover it. So I didn't watch it yet. So we get to react at the same time, y'all. Let's see what Soft Rain was over there talking about. I want to see.
A single mother. How I have seen across different platforms where those valuations for those mothers are totally different. The mother that is a divorced single mother her value is higher than just the single mother that was in a committed relationship and then now she's a single mother. The relationship ended and now she's a single mother. So help me out on that and explain to me why that evaluation is different. And also drop in the comments crowns, ladies, if you're tired of single moms being written off before a date even starts.
Is that the case? I'm not a single mom. I'm not a mother. I'm a guy, so I really wouldn't know if single moms are written off. I've dated single moms, plenty of them. You know, I was a stepdad myself at one point in time. I got my own opinions on how a lot of them do things. Everybody's different, but are they really written off before the date starts, or is there a certain amount of expectation from them? Like, okay, like I'm not trying to liken you to a car or anything like that. You know, I'm just saying that, you know, if you got a lot of miles on you, it's a little bit late to be trying to save the tread on the tires. That's what most guys might say or think. They're just saying that, like, if you're trying to, you know, put it back in your pocket and not share it, it's kind of hard for most of us to believe. That's all I'm saying. You know, every case is different. Every case is different. You know, if it's a religious thing, it's a religious thing, but let's keep it real now. Well, it wasn't most of the time, now was it?
Yeah, do that. And then let me paint this picture for you. This is something real, right? Because we're here with realness. Okay. A single mother plants her feet on the floor in the morning. She thanks God for giving her another day on this earth. She gets herself ready for her work day. She then gets her son ready for his school day. She goes to work, puts in her 8, 10, 12 hours, however long her shift is. She comes home. She completes dinner. She helps with homework. She makes sure that child gets in bed in a timely manner. Then she comes around the corner and she sees that she has a full load of laundry that can be done. So she pops that in the washer. And when she finally sits down, it's 9 o'clock. The day has completely ended. But then you get a ding on your phone, right? And it's from a mister. We're going to call him Mr. Interested. He's been showing some interest in you.
Mr. Interested? Okay.
And you have some interest in him. He says, "Hey, beautiful, come out and enjoy a drink with me." Part of you deep down inside wants to say, "Yes, I'm on my way." But reality is I'm already in my pajamas. I got my hair tied up. My kids, they're in the bed and they got to be up by 6 o'clock. So that's where independence and love starts to tussle.
Okay. All right. So I got to ask a question. Soft Rain, are you around? You around? I got to stop popping my... We all got bad habits on stream, but at least you recognize what yours are. You know, some people don't recognize what their bad habits are until way later when they're on camera. Most men without children are encouraged not to date single mothers. Yeah, we were, but the older we get, like, what options do we have? Almost all of y'all got kids. For real, what other chance do you get but to date single mothers? You're in your 30s, even late 20s, mid to late 20s. Like, everybody's got children. I think Generation Z is a little bit different. So Gen Z is a little bit different. So they don't always have, kids. But most of the other gens, millennials especially, definitely Gen X. I mean, everybody's got children. Like, I'm gonna need a little bit of more. I mean, yeah, Soft Rain, let me know. I'm gonna play some more of this, but if you want to come on here and talk about this, you are more than welcome to come on here and talk about this. I will drop a link for you if you want that to happen.
And if you're a single mom, you know how this tension goes. Now, Anna, in this video, she is great explaining these issues that men have with high value men have with single moms. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to give a little bit of pushback because out of these issues, and I'm going to be pulling this up while I'm talking.
Soft Rain, you mentioned something that this audience might not be familiar with. What is a high value man? And what is a high value man in your opinion? I don't know. What's a low value man? What's an average value man? What's a value man at all? Do you find him at Walmart in the value man section? Oh, man. Not going to be able to get you live. Hey, but at least you commented. I appreciate it. Shout out to Conversations with Soft Rain, y'all. I want to see more of this content that she has going on. I think we should watch a little bit more of it. Don't y'all? Yeah. Well, ain't nobody going to tell me what to do, so I'm going to do it anyway.
See, out of these issues that she describes and has on this list of 9, honestly, the more I think about it, I'm going to say 6 to 7 of these issues with a little bit of understanding, a little bit of compromise.
All right. Okay, we got some visuals right now. Okay, single mom issues that keep high value men away. All right, I'm reading, y'all. Don't come for me. Do whatever you want. 1, divided attention. 2, unruly kids. 3, special needs children. I don't think number 3 is a single mom issue that keeps men away. I think that is a personal decision. We're talking about issues that can impact an entire family. And one thing that I've seen with most special needs children is a lot of them, they don't necessarily do very well with authority, especially new authority. If you didn't raise this kid, it's going to be hard for this kid to want to listen to you, no matter how older that they grow, no matter what type of leader that you are. Like I said, special needs, they have special needs, and a lot of men haven't been trained or equipped to deal with that. And even the ones that have might decide that this is a lot to deal with, and I could do this for a job, but I could not do this at home. And I totally understand the upsetness that comes from that, but you have to also remember that that man is not that kid's parent, so there is technically no obligation for them to worry about their special needs. I know that's a very harsh truth and a harsh take on it, and I'm not saying what type of person that could or could not be. I'm just saying that it's the truth. It's the truth. It's the same as if someone didn't want to date a paraplegic. No one can get upset with them for not wanting to date a paraplegic. Does everybody deserve love? I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the answers to those questions. But I can tell you that you cannot be upset with someone because they don't want to deal with anything you have going on in your life. You got to keep it moving. You got to keep it moving. Number 4, time constraints. That's a big one. That's a big one. As someone who works a lot and works on his own stuff a lot, I have time constraints. But my time constraints are usually within the realm of me understanding what I can do, what I shouldn't do, and what I could do given the right amount of time and preparation. So if you have time constraints and I have time constraints, we're never going to see each other. So why fall in love with you or anything close if you have this long list of demands that we like to talk about, and it also if you have a whole bunch of other stuff going on? It's best for us to not fall. I'll be alone. I'm sorry that it didn't work out, but I'm never going to see you. You're never going to see me, and it's just going to become something else to argue about. It's a tough statement. Yeah, nobody wants to say it, but it has to be said. We will definitely cover tonight as well. Great clip. Yeah. Yeah, souls. I'll be watching. I'll be, watching. I try to participate as well too. It's rough. I'm blowing up a little bit so y'all can see it. It's rough. Limited social life. Also, that goes right in with time constraints. I think those are probably the same one. Financial dependence. Ooh. Let me tell you. If you, as a man, work all day long, and you meet her with her list of demands and 3 other kids, and in most cases by 3 other guys, and the first thing she starts talking about is what she needs from you as a financial contribution, it might turn you all the way off, especially if you're a hyper independent person, as they are coining this term now. I call it being a man. Let's get to the point there with that. I call it being a man. That's what I call it. Hyper independence. Man. So if it's a problem for her being a man, I totally understand because she's not a man. So maybe she shouldn't be. But if it works, it works. Who am I to judge? I'm only worried about what's going on in this one when it comes to this. I just like talking about it. I do like talking about it. It's kind of fun. Emotional baggage, which also goes right into baby daddy drama. Number 9, trust issues. Now, see, that's the one where I started talking about earlier when I was like, man, everybody talking about their feelings and all the trust. That's an emotion that you feel as a result of being hurt by the last dude or 2 or 3 or 4. And if you really got a bad picker, 5 plus. Okay? Has nothing to do with me. You met me yesterday. Oh, you're not in love with me. I'm not. I met you yesterday. So you would do this and do this, but not be in love with me? Yes. The answer is yes. Yes, I would. And so would all of them. Regardless of what they tell you, despite what they tell you, all of them would do it to all of them. All of them. And ain't nobody special in that aspect. If you look nice, they will touch if you allow them to. They can tell you whatever. I didn't want to come in the first night, girl. Yes, he did. He just knew that it would put him in a better light if he didn't try. And if you wanted him to, you were going to invite him anyway. And he can say the line, are you sure? You sure you want me to come in? Are you positive? Because I'm coming in. You feel me? Yada, I mean. To that extent in degree. That's what's going on here. You are fooling yourself if you think that he's any different than the last 4 or 5. He's not different. His motivations might be a little bit different, but he's not any different. We all inherently want the same things on this side. You could tweak it here, you could tweak it there. There might be a little bit, deviance in some of us. There might be. There might be something, a little bit of extraness on some of us, but for the most part, it's the same. The thing is, we know this about us, and that's why we tell y'all when we're friends with you. Girl, he ain't nothing. He not, you know what I'm saying? You ain't even got a sandwich. Ain't no corners on that. We tell you, you don't believe us. Dating for 6 months, a year. I can't believe this happened to me. I can't. I told you it was going to happen. I told you what he was from the beginning. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. Well, how did you know? I don't know because I can see. Sometimes better than other times. But I definitely saw that. What about your life? We're not talking about me. You don't know about me because I'm not telling you about my emotions. You don't know how that made me feel because I moved on from it immediately because I don't care about how it feels. Nobody cares about how it feels. The only reason you want to know how it felt is so you can use it against me later and say I messed up. That's why. We're going to hear a little bit more from Soft Rain, and then we're going to go into our last 2 segments.
A little bit of tolerance. They wouldn't even be issues. It's everyday things that encompass single motherhood. Okay. Now, some of these are non-negotiables. Some of these are like, dead no-nos. They're deal breakers. I'll say it like that. So I'm going to read through this list, and then I'm going to just pull out a couple that resonated with me, and we'll go from there. Now, these 9 issues that single moms have that keep high-value men away. And I have to agree. That divided attention, unruly kids, special needs children, time constraints, limited social life, financial dependence, emotional baggage, baby daddy drama, and trust issues. Yes.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. You know what bothers me the most about this? There are men, good men, solid men, who will put up with all of that. Will put up with all of this. And the minute that he wants anything for himself, this same person will call him selfish. The same person will call him selfish after he does put up with all of that. The bad kids, as we used to call them, the bad kids, the limited time, the financial dependence, the baby daddy drama, because there's dudes out there that don't care. He'll fight your baby daddy, allegedly. And you still will call him selfish because he wants to do this, because he wants to do that, because he want to watch the game, because he want to play the game, because he want to put his feet up after getting off of work, because he want a little extra of that, and you tired. Then you get mad when the same guy stops wanting to do anything at all, and you find out, oh, he was cheating. I'm not advertising that anyone should cheat. That's not what I'm saying. But we're talking about reality on this show, and the reality is when you don't feel a reciprocated effort, especially on the dude's side, they just go and cheat, and then people get upset with it when they went and cheated. But they went and cheated because they didn't feel the reciprocation, and it's not the right. I'm not saying it's the right response because it happens on that side too. But I think on that side, you can get everything that you asked for, and then you'll move the goalposts and want something else. I don't know too many guys that'll get everything they asked for and then try to move the goalposts again. No, they don't. They mostly just, okay, this is the goal. You kick it straight through this one right here, and you got a contract for life. put the ring on it, sign, seal, deliver, have all my kids, and I'm gonna take all the goofy pictures you want, wear all the matching clothes that you want to do, matching flannels, whatever, as long as you know you take care of your end of the bargain. And I see those wives and those husbands, and from the outside looking in, they have a happy family. We're not in their family. All we know is what we see and what they tell us about each other. And for the most part, they look happy out. None of us are ever in someone else's relationship. We can only speak from our own expertise and our own experiences. And these are some of the experiences that not just myself have had, but a lot of my friends that I talk to about this on a fairly consistent basis when it does happen. But a lot of us will put up with this. So does that mean that somebody who put up with this isn't high value? What is high value? So would you say that most men would tolerate these issues? I say that most men have tolerated these issues. If so, at what cost? I think at the cost of his own sanity. I think he will do a lot of things that don't make any sense for the love of a woman, especially if he feels like she's solid.
All of these issues could potentially keep high value men away. I'm not arguing with that at all. Okay. My argument is that these issues, with a little bit of compromise, understanding, and tolerance, they wouldn't even be issues. Okay.
But compromise from who? Are these men high value men? I don't know what a high value man is supposed to be. I didn't coin the term or the phrase. I need to know, honestly, because there's a lot of stuff out there in these societies that we live in and watch that say what a high value man is. I think it changes all the time. But to answer your question, do you think that there are men who would tolerate these issues? I think that most of them have. But the question is, what type of compromise are we talking about? Because you said that there needs to be compromise on both sides on some of these issues. A little bit of bend here, a little bit of bend there, but on whose end? Is it up to the person who brought the issues to compromise, or the person who's tolerating the issues to compromise? That's what I really want to know. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
When it comes to divided attention, if a man cannot understand that your child comes first until that commitment is locked in, either you're committed fully or married, your child needs to come first. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think everything has its place. I do think that everything has its place. I've never truly understood what anyone meant by my kid comes first. I don't really understand what that means because I'm so used to everything being in its place. A hierarchy doesn't necessarily have to exist, but the question is compromise from the men's size. What type of size are you talking about? Oh, you mean side? Okay. But everything, in my opinion, is in its place. The kids get food because the kids need food. It shouldn't be a question. They got to go to school. They got to do this, blah, 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 blah. But are you telling me that no matter what's going on in our life, you're going to consult the children? Someone consult the children. Ask the children how they feel. Somebody ask the children. For what? What do you mean? What do you mean? If they're taken care of, then they're fine. So I've never understood that. I've always thought that was a weird term to use. The kids come first. In what way? What are you talking about? So on No Middleman, we need to define high value men. Please do. Please do. Because I guarantee you it's going to be a lot of people that have a lot to say about it. Yeah. Like, come on, souls. Come on. Come on. What do you mean they come first? Yes, they're awards. They get taken care of, but they do not come first in any way, shape, form, or fashion when you're in a relationship. You're in a relationship. We're not talking about a dude on the street. We're talking about being in a relationship. What man is going to give everything to get the leftovers in every aspect of his life? What man is going to give everything to be third, fourth, and fifth place in every aspect of his life? Who do y'all think is going to do that? Besides, one of them B word men. Whatever B word you want to choose, you use it. Put yourself in his shoes for 2 minutes. For 2 minutes. For 2 minutes, put yourself in his shoes and then tell me that that's exactly how you want to treat somebody, and you would wonder why they would want to leave or not mess with you. Whoever you are. Yeah, girl. You ain't gonna look. Me and the shorty, my daughter, we got a thing that we do every night. You cannot call me between the hours of 8 and 10:30. I go to bed at 10:15. You can call me tomorrow, but I start work at 4. Okay? And I ain't getting off until 4. So you got an hour on my drive home from work to call me if you want to talk. Otherwise, I'm not texting you back because I be busy. I'm not showing up. Ain't no late nights over. You can't sleep over. I would not have nobody sleep over my house. You can't come in. If you want to go to dinner, you better ask me a month in advance. You know what you're going to call that man? You're going to call that man sassy. If my child is sick and there's a date planned, the child's health comes first. That's an extreme case unless you always got sick kids. If you always got sick kids, that's a whole other story. You probably should disclose that to that man. Disclose it to that man. Give him full disclosure. You don't like it there. He loves it there. Y'all not going to work out. Simple as that. You don't like it there. You don't like doing that. He loves it. It's his favorite thing. You don't like when he look. You don't serve him first. Some men will get their boxers in a pinch if you need to reschedule for any reason. There are some men who don't wear boxers. They wear women's underwear. Once again, the extreme outliers are not who we're talking about today. And I need y'all to understand that most of this stuff that people think are about the extremes. So if you keep on running into the extreme every day, then that is more of a you picker problem. That is user error. That is not the outside world at large. That is a user error. Because let me tell you, 90% of the unmarried dudes that I know, they would love to be married right now. Let me tell you, 90% of the unmarried single moms that I know do not want to get married right now. That's weird how that works. That's because you ask a dude, yeah, I want a wife and a kid, a bunch of family. We do a big old house in the suburbs with white picket fence, the backyard, 3 dogs. Yes, lady, yo, you want to get married? I can't get married. Why you can't get married? Ain't no man good enough for me. They all liars. They dogs, scallywags, all of them. Why is this the dichotomy? So you may tell me it's a whole bunch of men that want y'all, but y'all don't want no men? Or is it the 90% of y'all want the 3% of us in any given direction? The 90% of y'all want the 3% of us. I think that's the bigger problem. High value men. High value men. So what's a great value man? Is a great value man better than a high value man? So, man, yeah. If you got to reschedule, girl, reschedule. But you gonna make it up to me, right? 1 time, cool. 2 times, cool. 3 times, fool me, can't get fooled again. Now it sounds like an excuse, doesn't it? Yeah, it does sound like an excuse, especially if there was no effort made in between to do a little something special for him, a little something extra, a little something, a little suki, whatever. I said Suki for y'all that didn't know. Get your minds out of the gutter. You got to be willing to reciprocate some extra for when you messed up and took it away. Even if, I couldn't control that he got sick. No, you couldn't control that he got sick, but you still got to make it up. You knew that man was disappointed. Lies. Lies. Oh, man. I didn't think we was going to get here today. Oh, man. Right now, as I stand before you, the chat lies to the galaxy about what they just said, desired, and required. Why can we never get to the bottom of these things? Why? You see, you wanted somebody to be open. You wanted somebody to be emotionally intelligent. And the moment they tell you exactly what they think, you're not understanding. The makeup is going to be better than the original plan. That's never happened, ever, to any man, ever. Ever. The makeup is going to be better than the original plan. Then why didn't we just do that then? If the makeup was going to be better than, why didn't we just do that then? Lies. I'm going to let her finish. I'm going to let her finish. All right.
Sorry, it is what it is. Now, when that commitment and the lock-in under the covenant is done, then yes, the hierarchy changes. God, man, wife, kids. That wife puts that man first. Now, of course, reality. If my child breaks a bone and my husband is whining that he hasn't spent time.
Your husband whining? Did you just say your husband was whining? Because he told you what his needs were? Okay. All right.
Time with me. I'm gonna be at the mercy room with my child. So it's a lot of give and take in these instances, okay? But and thinking about divided attention as well, I want to ask the ladies this. I've never experienced this, but has a man ever acted jealous because of your child?
That was justified. And then she followed it up by saying that he was whining because he wanted to spend time with his wife. Y'all go ahead over on Conversations with Soft Rain and check out Conversations with Soft Rain. I believe that tonight they're going to be on the No Middleman podcast. That's Souls of Thought, Uncle Plug TV, and obviously, and importantly, Conversations with Soft Rain. I want to get a little bit more on this, and I hope that you go ahead and review it a little bit so I can find out too. But that's what we got. If y'all want to catch up, what was the title of this one, Soft Rain? This one was Single Mom Issues with Keeping the High Value Men Away, or Single Mom Issues that Keep the High Value Men Away, or at bay. It might just be at bay. There's another chance for him, right? I don't know. I'm not sure. I think I feel like there's a little bit of incongruent behavior. I think there is. I think there is. I think there's a little bit of incongruence. You want me to be all accepting. We're going to leave it there. Please put your opinions and comments in the chat. Think of a question of the day for me. We are now moving on to our random video of the day, and it's going to be funny because it needs to be. It's a holiday after all.
$25, $240. $25.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Fuck! You're so fucking worthless
right now!
God damn it!
I'm gonna faint.
It got blocked.
Shut the fuck up!
Fuck, he sucks ass!
It's his fault.
It is his fault!
It got blocked.
No.
Yeah, your parents are divorced.
Ooh.
I'm about to crash out over this whole fucking football thing, and I'm not even a diehard football fan. How the fuck do I just watch a local gosh darn game? I look it up and it's like, oh, you can go on Fox and watch it. It's your lucky day. I'm like, awesome. It's on Fox. It's on the local channel. How do I get to Fox? Because, most of us don't have regular cable anymore because we got streaming services. So I looked it up and it said Fox Sports app or it said Hulu Plus. Great, I have Hulu, okay? But I go on Hulu through Disney Plus. So I was like, okay, I'll go through to Disney. Got on my Disney app, went to Hulu. Nope, not there. Hulu and Hulu Plus apparently aren't the same thing. I thought they were the same thing. How the fuck do I get Hulu Plus? So it wasn't there. I was like, okay, so I guess I got to go to the Fox Sports app. Got to download that. Another fucking subscription to watch a goddamn Seahawks game. Why can't I just watch a Seahawks game? It costs an arm and a leg just to go to the game. It's supposed to be basically free to be able to watch it from the comfort of your own home. And now
there's money to be made on that.
No.
There's money to be
now what do I
made.
do? So I called up my mom and I was like, Mom, how the fuck do I watch the Seahawks game? She's like, you can download the DirecTV app on your TV and watch it there. And I already know this from last year that you can't download the DirecTV app on your smart TV. They don't allow it. So I had to download the DirecTV on my iPad. But in order to use that, you have to turn on your location, precise location to be able to use the DirecTV app. And then you can AirPlay it to your TV. Like, what the fuck is this shit? I just want to watch a fucking Seahawks game, and I don't want to watch it all the time. I'm just bored. I'm laying down. My kids don't come home for a couple hours. I'm like, oh, I'll watch a Seahawks game. Nope, you can't. You can't watch a Seahawks game unless you pay for every fucking service, cable, streaming thing that there is out there. What are you guys doing?
Nope.
It's finally that time. We going 18-0 this season. We ain't losing a single game. Mark my words.
What
the fuck y'all niggas looking at, bro? What the fuck y'all niggas looking at? I don't give a fuck. Fuck up. What, nigga? What the fuck? Nigga, what? Yo, what's good, y'all? Hey, Detroit Lions fans, 3-1-3, baby. Arise. It's finally our time. It's finally that time. We going 18-0 this season. We ain't losing a single game. Mark my words. We got the Packers. Man, you already know they saw Michael Parsons, but he ain't doing shit this game. He ain't doing shit.
You already know what happened here, y'all. All right.
Get out of the fucking game! Get it out of the fucking game! Put Quinn Ewers in the game!
Zach Wilson?
I fuck Zach. Honestly, put anyone in the game, dude. Put fucking
Wildcat.
Helen
Zach
Keller in the game.
Wildcat.
Get
Helen Keller?
Lonnie Brown and Ricky Williams and run the Wildcat.
Anything is better than this chubby fucking Hawaiian twat.
Get him out of the fucking.
Now, he didn't do him like that, did he? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. All right. That was the random videos of the day. I thought that was funny. All right, y'all. We're ramping up towards the end of this right now. You know, it's that time. Chat Q&A. What's up, y'all? Talk to me. Somebody get a question for me today. Somebody give me something to say. Give me questions. Give me questions. I want to know. Give me some questions. I want to tell you what is the question of the day? Give y'all like 8 more seconds before I not answer nobody's questions and give y'all my final statement. Yeah, it should have. I mean, a lot of these games should be on local TV, but they're not. We got blackouts everywhere, and not a fan of the blackouts at all. There's a whole lot of Tez going on right here. You gotta love it. I sure do. It's almost like it's Tez Timber or something. It is Tez Timber. So I'm gonna give y'all the gift of me by giving me the gift of me. Sovereign said, what do people misunderstand about you the most? Me? I don't know. I'm very misunderstood. I don't know. Everything? Everything. I don't know if I met anyone that gets me. Not that I want them to. Maybe probably if you don't know me, you might think I'm self-centered. If you don't know me. If you don't know me, you might think that I'm all about me, which I think there's a very big difference between loving yourself after years of hating yourself versus just being about yourself. I just love me. I am the way that I am. You know, if I want to try something and it looks dumb, I'm going to try it. Find out if it looks dumb or not. I'm not afraid to try it. You know, if I messed up, I messed up. I don't hold on to it like that. You know, as I say it all the time, we don't sit in it. We're on to the next one. We don't sit in it. You know, and I think that bothers people sometimes. But I was also told that if you're not bothering somebody, you're probably not doing something right. If you're not bothering somebody, that could go a lot of ways. Oh my God. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they think that, oh, well, he's done all this stuff. When did he have time? When do I have time to do what I'm doing right now? You don't ever have time. You make it, and you make the most of the time that you get. And that's what I do every single day. And I hope that I'm doing the right thing when I'm doing it. And if I'm not, I'll find out and I'll fix it and try to make it better. Oh, you talk with so much conviction in your voice. It's not about the conviction in my voice. If I think I'm right, I think I'm right until facts present themselves. When facts present themselves, I'm allowed to change my opinion. I'm allowed to give props where props is due. If somebody put me on something, then hey, thank you. But until then, an opinion's an opinion. We're all entitled to have one, just like we got those things on our backs. I'm not going to say it out loud. Nobody can goad me into it today. I don't know. It's probably a lot. There's probably a lot. That's kind of how you kind of have to take it with the territory. If you're any type of successful in any way, shape, form, or fashion, and you believe that you're successful, not just by other people's metrics, but if you believe that you're successful and that you're doing something that you don't think anybody else is doing, and even if you do think that other people are doing it, but nobody's doing it like you, you have the right to feel how you want to feel. And that's the facts. You have the right to feel how you want to feel about it. And I think I feel how I want to feel most of the time. Like I said, today is a holiday. It is the first holiday of Tez Timber. And I have been giving the gift of me to you. That's what I believe. So, I mean, yes, that could be very off-putting for some people and probably very misunderstood. So I can't apologize for it because I'm having a blast. And you know what? You know what? You know what time it is? I got you. I got you. I got you. I have been Tez. This has been a great 24 on the Tez Down Show. I'll catch y'all in another 24. Make sure you go check out Conversations with Soft Rain tonight on No Middleman Podcast with Souls of Thought and Uncle Plug TV. Make sure y'all check into the classic codes always. And I think that's going to wrap it up for today. Y'all check into these networks. Go check out the DDLG podcast. We got some new stuff up. You like wrestling, you like sports. Going to be a lot more in-depth than what I gave you today. I gave you a taste so I could pull you and put you over on the sports channels. Check out Classic Code Sports. You know, we did an appearance on there. That was fun. We gave an opinion. Some of my opinions were right. Some of them were a little bit wrong. Sorry, Daniel Jones. Tampa Bay is still doing Tampa Bay's thing. Y'all need to get a little bit better. I don't know what we're going to see tonight with Chicago and Minnesota. Y'all tell me. Basically, we got two young quarterbacks who ain't never been proven doing nothing. One of them coming off an injury, one of them coming off a noodle of a year last year. Let's see what's going on in Chicago versus Minnesota. Hope Chicago wins. I don't know if they're gonna, though. I think they might be the worst in the division. And if you want to check out some new stuff, go check out, they're on right now, the Ben Podcast Network. I'll see you guys in another 24.